Hello, Internet. Welcome to Shenanigoons, the Book of Fables. I am Angela, your DM, and we are here for another fantastical journey of our ridiculous band of heroes. How are you, ridiculous band of heroes?
Doing good.
So ridiculous.
Good. That's what I expect. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I hope everybody out in not TV land is having a nice day as well. And we hope that you enjoy our story this evening. We are going to be telling you the tale of Chapter 8, Pomp and Circumstance, in which our heroes potentially graduate, said whatever they have been going through for the last several whenevers. You know, it's all very concrete and defined. Such is the Feywild, or some facsimile of the Feywild. Anyway, we are a D&D D&D actual play live stream. That's the words that are coming out of my mouth. And we are part of the Nerdsmith Network. Nerdsmith is a group of small creators of podcasts and live streams and all sorts of nerdy content free for you to enjoy, and you will find more information about us at nerdsmith.org, including coming up soon on the website, but officially announced, we have a new member of the network. We have Roleplay Retcon. Yay! Roleplay Retcon. Roleplay Retcon is a podcast that asks the question, what if terrible movies were instead not terrible and played with RPG systems? So please check them out. You can find out information on our social media. We made some announcements, and we are very, very excited to welcome Roleplay Retcon into the Nerdsmith family. Y'all are amazing, and yeah, that's our big announcement for for the week. We're very excited to have them. They've been a friend of the network for a while, and they are just amazing and kick-ass. And if you join their Discord server, they do movie viewings of some of the terrible movies they recreate, and they also do a lot of really cool stuff with indie musicians making new soundtracks for these new movies they have crafted, and it's very, very cool. They are just kick-ass. So, and if you like the network as a whole and you end up enjoying the show that you're watching today, you can support us here at the network at patreon.com/nerdsmith. We are hoping to roll out a couple of really cool things over the next month in time for the new year that we will be very excited to announce when we have a few more popsicle sticks on that house built. So yeah, we are only here because of the wonderful support of our viewers and the amazing backing of some of our sponsors here. We are sponsored as a network by Eldritch Foundry. Eldritch Foundry is how we got our really pretty pictures for our characters, and you can find a lot of really beautifully designed fantasy character races and accessories and clothing on Eldritch Foundry, and you can download digital copies of your characters, including top-down icons and little round icons like what we have here, for your RPGs, as well as printing them out as physical miniatures. So you should definitely check them out. We also have a I think it's on the code now, Heather. Did you see if there was a referral link on the code for the what you call it, on the chat?
Eldritch Foundry?
Yeah.
Don't see a referral code on the one I just popped up.
Let me put the referral code in. We actually have a referral code now, which is super awesome. And you can get a discount on your purchases at Eldritch Foundry, and you're helping support the network when you do that. So we definitely would like you to check them out. Where is it? Here it is. I found it.
Unless there's not a referral code, does that link
if it says Nerdsmith at the end, then yeah, that's it. So yeah, use the Nerdsmith referral link, and you're gonna help support us, and we really, really appreciate it because you guys are amazing. We are also supported by World ANVIL. World ANVIL is an incredible world building and campaign management software. I have just delved back into the never-ending magic that is running a campaign in World Anvil. I am running both this game and a private game, and there's a lot of really kick-ass stuff that I'm doing with it, including making some location maps for places that the characters are often going to go to, working on info dumps for the players so that they can refer back to all of the stuff that has happened. Lots of other things that will help them, but then also be information that you can have as well as our viewers. That's just going to go live very soon. It's my holiday project, so I'll be plugging stuff in, and then hopefully we'll have some cool things to show you. And World Ember is still happening. They're halfway through. December is when World Anvil celebrates sparking your imagination by giving prompts to fill out articles on your World Anvils. Please consider joining them for World Ember, because there are some amazing prizes, thousands of dollars worth of prizes from a bunch of different partners and sponsors for World Anvil, and you can find out more at worldanvil.com. They've got the whole list of all the prizes that are available and the categories, so you go check them out and have a really wonderful time creating. It's always a blast checking out what World Ember comes out with. And don't forget to light up the forge. And Tessa, you want to talk about our last sponsor?
Sure. I will talk about our last sponsor. Our sponsor, is last on the list, but certainly not least, is Die Hard Dice. Die Hard Dice is amazing. We love everybody over at Castle Die Hard. They are fantastic. Currently, they are having their holiday sale, which is going on till December 20th. If you purchase an order between now and December 20th, they are going to have it shipped out before they go on their holiday break. And if you purchase before then, you will get 15% off if you use our code Nerdsmith/DEC for 15% off. You can check out their latest and greatest with the pop-up dice tower. It is wonderful and easy to take with you on the go whenever you want to have a little bit of fun. It flattens out very nicely. And if you accidentally drop it on the ground where your kitten can get at it, it totally makes a great scratching post. I don't recommend that. There are maybe a couple little scratches on it now, but it is definitely by Die Hard Dice. I'm gonna try and figure that out, and it's Daisy approved. We'll just put it that way. So Dragon Mom tested, Daisy approved.
Great. I'm worried for your dice tower. Thank you, Tessa.
I'm not sure if I dropped it or if she knocked it on the ground.
Oh no.
It's more likely that she got up on my desk and knocked it over.
Oops, this is now in my territory. Whatever happened?
Yep.
All right, everyone. How about we start our story?
Yes, let's.
Well, previously on. And what we're going to do is we're going to do sort of a previously on by way of roping Kyle into our story. So our previously on is going to be a little extended this time. So, in the Book of Faebles, where these youngsters were inadvertently transported, they found themselves in the presence of the queens of this land. And the queens of this land imparted on them a story about the King of Tales, their late husband, a man or being a king that came to this world from something called the Great Archive and molded it to his desires, his whims, many times over. Trying to make the perfect world, trying to make exactly what he wanted, but never quite being satisfied. And his whims caused suffering in the land. And these queens, whom he had collected over however many iterations of the book have existed, decided they had had quite enough and had usurped the throne from him and banished him and then put him on a boat and then burned him. They did a lot. They were trying to be very thorough. They erased him from the record, so much so that no one knows what he appears to look like or what he did look like anymore. They don't even know his name other than that title. And you all, as youngsters, were introduced to this concept that to go home, you could inadvertently be unleashing this king. But the queens were intent on giving you the opportunity to return to a place where you had been snatched. And in an effort to make the playing field a little more level, or at least prepare you for what could be a danger when you returned, they all joined together to train you to become heroes. And thus you were trained, and you experienced much, honestly, years pass. Many of you age noticeably. You become adults. You're no longer children or teenagers. You're full-fledged heroes at this point. You have been trained by your queens of the queens who have taken you on as their charge, and have each developed your own abilities and strengths and powers. Now, as you were doing such things, let's see. Oh, Harland. We need to talk about Harland as an adult, I think. Did we talk about how things that he developed specifically as a sorcerer? Have we talked about that with you yet?
We did like a brief thing with Beza of like
meeting Her Majesty of Beauty.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to double check and make sure what we talked about last week so that I remember.
Yes, his vision of the corn-fed, healthy-looking lady, which just made my heart that much happier that is Harlan's vision of beauty.
But, did we do Beza's tattoo last week, or was the week before? Was that last week? Last week. Okay, so, Kyle, what I would like you to do is take a look at your character sheet, having now had access to Sorcerer, and I would like you to tell me something that Harland has learned that you would like to, let's say, RP out how he learned it, or talk a little bit about the circumstances that he learned how to do something. And say Gura imparted on him some knowledge. And
I think we might have done this. I think we talked about the tides of chaos. I think that sounds familiar.
We did. Then the next thing that happened was we talked last week about something that bonded you a little bit more to your fifth party member, Villain. And I believe the order of events was Villain spent quite a bit of time, Villain the Changeling spent quite a bit of time with Oliette in the beginning, as she acquired her swarm of mean girls. Found that maybe she was taking to it a little too easy, and decided to kind of go on walkabout, we'll say, see what there was to see, and found his way over to Paru, spent quite a bit of time expanding his mind and actually developing quite a bit more in their changeling abilities, their ability to kind of morph into people through their attempts to communicate with the mushroom folk, being nonverbal as they are. And I don't recall which order of events we said, whether Harland or Beza came next, but I think Beza came next, in which he developed his martial prowess with you, Beza, as you were training with the Rangers of the Hunt. And one particular mission where Villain tried to get a little bit too much in the fray, ended up in a severe injury, and resulted in the very stylish, very roguish eye patch that he now sports. So let's just say, for the sake of continuity and whatever, that's the order that it went in. And eventually, Villain decides to strike out on their own again. That feeling of isolation that they have, or that feeling of kind of fading into the background, kind of comes in again. The wanderlust happens again, and Villain decides to strike out on his own, and eventually finds himself in taverns and populated villages, small town Feywild, you know, and comes across stories of a great folk hero who has journeyed throughout the land, righting wrongs and making beautiful maidens and fellows faint at the very sight of him and the sound of his voice. And eventually, Harland, you find yourself in Verlaine's company, just meeting up again. Verlaine's a lot taller than they were before. Not much bigger in terms of like, still kind of like a little bit scrawny. But like slightly more chiseled jawline and a very a very prominent black eye patch across one side of their face. When they find you again, and you spend some time with Verlaine on the road, with Gura and Verlaine, and so let's talk a little bit about how you see your rapport with Verlaine being as adults. What sort of relationship do you all have as things go on?
I would think that because Harland is kind of unpredictable, I think Verlaine would. I just see him as he and like Verlaine is just trying to like figure out what Harland's angle is, but like
sure.
But like Harland is basically just like, oh, you're one of the people that like I came in here with, so like your family pretty much.
Right.
It's, you know, it's very I don't know. I think that
I think it takes a while for him to warm up to the idea.
Probably.
A long while. You probably starts with a little bit of a slyness to them, where it's like, all right, so you're doing this whole like shtick, right? Like, what, you get paid a lot, or like I mean, you got groupies, that can't hurt. Just questioning your motivations, but not in a judgmental way, but more in a like, so what's the take? What are you doing? You're kind of trying to commiserate with what clearly they see as probably a con of some kind. Or at least an attempt at being famous for the sake of being famous.
Yeah, and he just I don't know, he'd just be very like down to earth as far as like, no, it's a, you know, I happen to very much like sleeping in haylofts.
We had two very different reactions.
I am uncertain that anyone on this call is prepared for a Verlaine Harland scene. Like, I just don't think anyone's prepared for that.
Chris had that reaction. My brain went crawl in was exactly where my head went.
That might have been why I referenced it.
I love you, Kyle. I love you.
God. So yeah, there's just a point where Verlaine has to kind of come to terms with the fact that you are in fact sincere and just trying to make your way, you know, just trying to do your best and leave. I assume that Harland has a big sense of, you know, leave a place better than you found it, you know, at least a little in terms of the people.
I think it's like from his childhood of having to be like so careful about like not making too much of a mess that it's like, hey, are we good? Is everything fine? Is everything all right? Yes. Okay, good. I'm gonna go ahead and go before anything gets ruined. Like that's like the core of what, like, why Harland moves on, is he feels like, okay, nothing bad has happened. Let's move on before something bad does happen.
Sure. And Gura tries to impress upon you that embracing the wild of your magic can do a couple of things for you. One, gets you more in tune with the origins of your abilities. You know, don't fight the thing you're built with. You know, embrace it. Try to use it as best you can. You know, be inventive. Be improvise as much as you can, embrace the madness.
And I think Harlan would reach that point. It was just, I think it would start as a like, I really don't want to cause trouble, and turn into a, well, I'm certainly happy that no trouble has happened. Let's go ahead and move on. Like it's more of a like, all right, well, let's just take it in stride and let's keep the train rolling.
Sure. I would say that one thing that Verlaine brings to the table for you is that willingness to just not give a fuck. Of like, okay, something really weird happened, and Verlaine's pretty good with rolling with the punches. Pretty good at like, all right, something really fucking weird happened, well, let's just use it. And you get to see a little bit of improvisation and using something that you would think by default, oh god, it's happening again, something really weird, and it somehow helps turn the tide of something. And maybe there's a little bit of a, in practice, a little bit of a switch that you can see. Occasionally it's not a disaster. It can be used to your advantage. It doesn't always have to be a curse. It can just be chaos, which is not necessarily a terrible thing. At least that's how Gura sees it. It's just the natural, Gura embraces the natural entropy of the universe. You should as well.
I understood about 3 of those words.
It's okay, big guy. Just it's when you really understand where someone else is coming from, and you just like, you really connect with them emotionally. Gura needs to get both of you a thesaurus.
I have never met a dinosaur, but I would sure be willing to.
You're not even on TikTok. How did you know that story? Literally just watched something yesterday of someone working in a bookstore, and someone went, I need the dinosaur word book.
Oh my god.
It's like, do you mean a thesaurus?
Amazing.
Yeah.
And that was the moment where you could watch Chris's face as the crush died.
See, if only, see, there, that exact thing, Chris. Olia just has to hear him say that. And so, oh, okay, we're good. I'm good now. So yeah, I think that there's a little bit, as much as Verlaine has gotten something from each person he spent time with, I think maybe Verlaine is at a point when he starts spending time with you, Harlan, that maybe they get to see that they have something to contribute. That you appreciate the fact that Verlaine is willing to kind of use whatever it used to be in Scrappy. Whatever is available is what you use in a dire situation. And if it, a walking cantaloupe, it's a walking cantaloupe. I mean, what are you gonna do?
I think to build on that, I think what Harlan would contribute to Verlaine is that Harlan has no expectations on Verlaine, which I think that, fading into the background, that would feel a little bit like a cut, but it's also incredibly freeing in the fact that, like, no, there's literally no, like, I don't have any preconceived notions about what you should be. Therefore, whatever you contribute is valid.
Which is
it gives him that freedom.
Yeah, you get the sense that that's a new thing. The idea that, for them specifically, that if what you contribute is ill-defined, historically they've seen it as it's hard to justify to other people, and then Harlan's really like willing to embrace whatever Verlaine can contribute and learn from him. And so yeah, I think there's like an odd little camaraderie between them. They're a little odd couple, which I appreciate.
I apologize if I've been messing up his pronouns.
It's he, they. It's fine.
Yeah,
I apologize. We're sort of fluctuating between he, they, so it's either is appropriate. I was thinking that as Verlaine got older, it sort of flips between the two interchangeably. So, because your pronouns are valid and they can change, and you're allowed. So yeah, that is, and eventually you travel for a long while with Verlaine, and something just feels a little like I said, wanderlusty. Starts kind of looking to the horizon a bit more. But in fact, the thing that pulls Verlaine away from sabbatical is actually the arrival of Her Majesty of the Trade. Comes to collect them. Like, it's time to, you done? Yeah. That sort of thing. You're at a tavern or something, and there's this sense of that Verlaine's like both kind of looking ahead but also happy-ish with the arrangement right now. It's very low stakes. They can participate if they want. They don't have to participate in the throng of attention, or if they want to. So it's the flexibility seems to appeal to Verlaine. But when Her Majesty of the Trade arrives, back to the grinding stone, you know.
Well,
And
before you roll on out of here, I just gotta say
yeah.
that be like the tumbleweed. In that,
Full of sticks.
well, to each their own. But no, as they roll across the plains, driven hither, thither, and yon by the vagaries of the breezes, they scatter their
You
seed.
really took to that thesaurus.
It sure was old, but dog-eared or not, it did impart some of its knowledges upon my happenstances.
Some of that giant vernacular gets mixed in with your common now.
Pardon.
I will try to be like the tumbleweed.
Only gets to do this once it has lost its roots.
Ooh. He kind of steps away with Her Majesty. Her Majesty being a sort of a sea elf looking person.
There's no
A little
tumble.
more on the sea, less on the elf.
I should have used a different analogy.
Tumble seaweed.
Is there such a thing?
Sea cucumber. They wander.
Be like the sea cucumber.
Or a coconut floating from one island to the next across the ocean.
Who needs a
Now,
swallow?
I thought
You
the
got the
coconuts were carried by very small birds.
Yeah, I already beat you to it. So
I
it
adore
takes
you,
a-
weirdos.
So Kyle, it's a while until Harlan sees Verlaine again. In fact, the next Queen's Moot. You have a number of these over the years. These meetings of all of the Queen's courts, and basically almost like a report card. How are you doing? How are you each individually doing and progressing? And a chance to have wisdom imparted on you from the other queens at the time, since you're usually kind of off in your own little spaces, learning and growing as people. And something feels a little more final, a little more graduation-esque about the most recent that you encounter of these Queen's Moot. There is an exhibition of sorts that is put on, a more performative, there's more to do about the things that you do to give a sampling of the kinds of skills that you've acquired. Maybe each of you can really quick summarize what your exhibitions were, and then Kyle, when you hear those, we'll talk about what Harlan's was like.
Cool.
So let's see. I think Tessa went first. So I'll just start from the left. It's fine. What was Paru's exhibition like? Real quick. Just a little summary.
Paru's exhibition was her turning into a fire weasel after creating a maze of thorns in which an object was hidden in. And so she disappeared into that, and then when she found the object, she sent up a poof of these phosphorescent spores out of the holes in the thorns that she had created, and popped up holding the item. So it was kind of this shifting from goblin-esque to fire weasel to mushroom person, along with the creating of the natural ground and altering the earth.
Kick ass. And Beza, what was yours like?
Beza's demonstration was, not surprisingly, a lot of fighting. They brought in a giant snake for her to fight. The other hunters were helping her as well, but it was mostly her. And ultimately, she was partially swallowed by the snake and sort of exploded its head and stuff and won when she
It was super
able to grow
effective.
in size, because she went from being small to large.
So yeah, it was quite the martial display. And then Oliette, what was Oliette's demonstration? Having seen the other ones and going, oh shit, I
Right.
can't do a book report.
Oliette originally had prepared a much more academic presentation. However, these grand displays, she could not be outdone. So she ended up doing this really ridiculous. She had her mage hand playing the bongos that she carries around while she created this big cloud of black smoke that kind of covered the entire, I don't think arena is the right word, but
It's the
covered
theater space. It's fine.
Yeah, covered this entire space, and then used a pyrotechnics spell to make fireworks explode. It was really ostentatious and over the top, because that is the deal now. That is what is happening now.
Well, do you have a thought about what Harlan's might be? Kyle, or do you need another very bad example of a in Verlaine's case, what I think is probably a poor example of.
So I think what would, it just sounds right to me, is, so he's been to a lot of like county fair-esque kind of gatherings. So I think what he would do is ask for a volunteer from the audience.
Beautiful. Okay.
And
Do you want it to be someone we've already met, or do you want it to be a random person?
dealer's choice.
Okay.
Hopefully nobody very important, because this could
Yeah.
go very badly.
Sure, Her Majesty of the Folk definitely raises her hand, but you don't pick her, which is, but you pick a let's just say you pick a kind of surly looking satyr from the audience. His wife raised his hand. He's just like, they don't seem to get along though. I'm just trying not to give someone a backstory so you feel bad, but whatever happens. So this sort of pot-bellied satyr, clearly half pot-belly goat, comes up to the stage, the center of the stage with you.
He pulls him real close and asks him, how strong is your grip?
I don't know, it's pretty good.
Well, that's just fine. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to perform for you an exhibition of accuracy and spell casting. So, sir, if you wouldn't mind, and he'll pull him over to one of those spinning wheels that they strap people into for knife throwing.
Is this gonna hold me's?
Well, that's why I asked if you had a good grip.
Oh, okay. And he
just
kind
grab
of-
all the now, boy. You'll be fine.
nice.
fine. It's fine. Don't worry. It's fine.
All right, he goes up to the wheel.
I can keep them blindfolded. I'm not silly.
Okay, so you affix this satyr to this wheel.
And it's like, get it spinning. This is where I ask Her Majesty the Falcon
Oh,
by spinning the wheel. Your stomach's in the center. You're not going to throw up. Anyway.
Okay.
And so what he'll do is he'll
Still kind of dizzying.
what he'll do is he'll start throwing ice knife, at strategic places around the board.
Who did you ask to spin the wheel?
Her Majesty the Folk.
Oh yeah, she went all Vanna White. Hell yeah. No, she definitely wanted to participate in this, and she's just like, Lyle, it's gonna be fine, and she starts spinning the wheel. Oh god, I give him a name now. Really don't want bad things to happen to Lyle now. So what happens here, Harland, as you're throwing ice knife? Do you want to see? Are you letting the dice roll where they may?
Yeah, he just throws the knife at strategic locations around Lyle.
Okay, why don't you give me a couple of attack rolls and let's see how accurate you hit the board. Man, I was thinking Verlaine's was going to be the bloodiest display, but let's find out.
F's in chat for Lyle.
Yeah,
Oof.
How about a 12 for the first one?
That's fine.
Okay.
Just needs to not be lower than a certain number.
And an 11 for the second one.
Let's pour one out for Lyle.
Yeah. So, thunk, thunk, right near his foot. Everyone's like, oh. There's just a tension in the room. But you're just like, Harlan's just like, whatever. You got like calming energy. And Lyle's just like,
Then
thunk.
another one, 15.
15, okay, you're fine. You're actually getting a little more into the groove here. You're just like, all right. You get a little fancy. You're like, behind your hand. Behind your back. Thunk. Pretty far away from Lyle on that one. People have started clapping a little bit.
And then, how about a 4?
The
But
number you needed to not hit was 5. So what happens?
so as Harlan sees that this cold knife is like getting ready to go at him, he's going to use one of his sorcerer points to use safe spell.
Nice.
Where it would I'm kind of tweaking with the actual mechanics.
You're allowed to fudge it for the purposes of this particular moment.
So essentially, like that kind of leans into that like force and like that chaos a little bit, and just like makes it just like land right next to his head, just like thunk.
And everyone's just like,
Hiding in the drama, folks. Just hiding in the drama.
And you see your friends, your party mates over in the front of the stands, just like
he'll look at him and just
and any other things that you do as part of this this exhibition, or is the ice knife your pièce de résistance?
He'll summon like a dust devil or something. Just nothing too crazy. It's like it's a tornado of sand. But you never seen one of them before.
I will say,
tornado corn.
I will say that you have this moment of conjuring this elemental, and there is a it sort of seems to get away from you a little bit, just a little. Maybe it has a little slight mind of its own, and you do try to like wrangle it a bit, and in that attempt to sort of wrangle it, it nudges you a little, just a little. You just hit a wall. But that sort of like sudden, oh god, you feel a little bit of like a static electricity over your body, and your brain goes, oh no.
What?
And yeah, well, I already rolled the thing. That happened.
Do tell.
Please roll 3d10 for me.
Boy.
It's not damage, I promise. It's fine.
3d10. Do you need the figures separate from each other? Or
No, just give me the total.
16.
16 quarts of olive oil start pouring from your ears. They're big ears, too.
It's like that flash dance seemed to pull on the thing.
Except out of his ears. So as he's turning, there's just like sort of a...
Oh god! And if the dust devil like disintegrates at that moment, it's like glitter flinging through the air.
Yep, exactly.
Yes,
Oh my God.
yes.
So yeah, and oof, so and you bow, and there's still olive oil coming out of your ears. It's very much like the Addams Family Values play with all the blood, like the big Beth, just, or was it Hamlet? I don't remember.
Oh my God.
And so yeah, it's very much like that, and everyone's just kind of like. There's a few confused smatterings at the end of your performance. But you roll with it. You think about Gura, you think about what Villain suggested, and you just kind of roll with it. You're like, all part of the plan. and yeah, so you show a mastery of skill and a willingness to let the things you're not a master of not control you.
He'll spend the rest of the time like with a mop cleaning out the olive oil that spilled out of his ears. Just like on stage, just like,
Oh my God.
And now for the rest of my performance.
does anyone have any bruschetta?
I was gonna bring up garlic bread, and I'm glad someone did. And this is mostly for the audience and for Harlan's reminding. So after Harlan, a much more intense display is shown as Villain takes the stage and proceeds to perform some sort of mix between like an assassin hunting guards in a maze-like space with lots of like hidden alcoves and things where they just disappear into shadow and have this really creepy knife that they're using, and there's a bit of performance to it, like Her Majesty of the Trade is impressing upon people that like, oh, this is all just part of the act, it's fine, these are just sell swords, everyone. And everyone gets into it, like gets really excited by the pageantry of it and the sort of intensity of it. There's just blood everywhere, and a couple of times you see like Her Majesty of the Trade shows like an illusion. Oh yeah, don't worry about it. And then at one point, Villain gets behind someone and just guts them, and a ghostly figure appears out of the body that looks like the person, and Villain sort of illusions the ghost away and has a coin in their hand. Or no, it's the other way around. Has a coin in their hand, cracks it, and the ghost appears. They speak with the ghost for a little bit quietly, and then the ghost disappears. It's a very odd, very macabre performance. But you see their abilities to change into things, hiding. But you do note, and you learned this, Harlan, when you started hanging out with Villain, that because of the injury to their face, whenever they change, there is still a really nasty scar. They can't change out of that. That is always still there, regardless of who they change into. So a momentary distraction seems to be the best that Villain can kind of get away with, unless they're covering their face a bit more. But there is this like quick changes into different people that are on the like in the arena. There's these, like I said, hiding in shadow, very stealthy performance pieces, and then obviously some of the more martial, violent things that he might have picked up from the Rangers. All in all, very impressive, very intimidating performance, and everybody kind of goes wild, a little in shock, like, "Oh, holy shit!" at this performance. And at the end, you have a feast at the end, sort of wrapping up. Yeah, the queens have the best parties, and you all are still together for what seems like the last big hurrah before you're sent off to potentially the unknown. This place has been your home for a while. To suddenly have the prospect of returning back to the physical world or the material world, so you all have mixed feelings, different mixed feelings, and there is a point where you are each sort of presented to your queen for like a final farewell. We're gonna, send you off to be our champions if needed. And if not, you can always come back, I guess. So, we'll start with Beza. Beza, you and I described this before, that you see that your trainer my brain has completely blanked.
Tuscandale.
Sir Tuscandale, thank you. Oh my god, I feel dirty not remembering that. Anyway, so Sir Tuscandale was a little bit of a blubbering mess during the party. He might have had a little too much wine. He is very, very more put together the next morning, where you are presented to Her Majesty of the Hunt in a very formal way. He is in his full regalia, his chain or his plate mail, even having some set up for his mount. There's some plate mail on the rhinoceros panther, and then the rangers are a number of them are there in slightly more formal leathers and things than you're used to seeing them. They're kind of a motley bunch, and in this sort of very formal setting, Her Majesty of the Hunt calls you forward to kneel, and she has her bow in her hand. And Sir Tuscandale leaves you to go forward a little bit. It's very like giving you away, the vibe here. Didn't mean it for that, but it happened. So regardless, it's very ceremonial. And as you kneel for Her Majesty of the Hunt, she lifts your chin up to look her in the eye and says, "You come from a great line of hunters. That is your legacy. That is your history. Do not let anyone make you feel smaller than that." And she uses her bow basically on each of your shoulders, and says, "Please rise, Huntress Beza." And you hear a little blubbering from Sir So proud. So very proud. And Beza, you are knighted. You are a knight of the Her Majesty's court.
She, whatever the formal salute is for the court.
It's sort of like a hand to the heart and a bow. It's pretty much what it is. And she returns it. And everyone else in the grow also sort of does that in your direction. It's a send-off. After that, they all kind of they all go rowdy again. Like, hey! There's some shoving. And some drinking. But you're able to have this sort of moment specifically in Her Majesty the Hunt's throne room is where this all was. So in the big stonework tavern, almost like a den sort of vibe. Paru, you had a lot of, you might have been the only one that rivaled Oliet with the number of people who came to the exhibition for you specifically.
I don't know. Harlan's got the Harlequins and the Harlots.
That's true. I mean, in terms of, I forgot to mention that, Kyle, that the last week we did describe that it was like a Beatles concert when you went on stage. I did forget to mention that this time.
Mhm.
All right.
Thank you. Ladies, thank you.
Gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you. But you also had a pretty substantial contingent of mushroom folk that traveled to the event. And Her Majesty of the Vine has you in her throne room, and there's a bit more activity on the throne and around the walls. The sort of spike briar vining is sort of writhing a bit more than usual. Feels like maybe just the energy's a little different today, because the energy's a little different today. And the Minotaur woman is at her full height, and she does, however, kneel a little and says, "Paru, I am sure you're going to do great things.
Thank you.
You see things that others don't. Appreciate things that others don't. That's a rare quality. And never let it be stifled."
Yes, Your Majesty.
Good. And she sort of nods to some of the mushrooms, and you see like little clouds sort of release, and you see the spores, and they sort of fill the space in the ceiling of the room, and kind of sink down a little bit. There's a little bit of a very comforting fog quality to it. But Her Majesty is also still in the room with you. So for like the briefest bit of moment, you get to share something with her, which is special. You get little glimpses. It seems like maybe she knows what she can share, or what she knows how to share what she wants. And you get a couple of little glimpses into what matters to her day-to-day, what she is hoping will come of this. And so you get these little flashes of the hearth in her throne room, and Her Majesty of the Word is there, and there's just a quiet moment between the two of them. Intimate, not official, not not regal, just personal. And her overlooking the maze outside, what her people have built themselves, and sort of that pride she has. And you see glimpses of your exhibition, that sort of little glimmer of hope that that she felt during that. And then it fades, and you're all still in the room, in the throne room, and you and the mushrooms and the queen, and she just has a quiet smile of acknowledgement on her face. She knows what you saw.
The hearth in her throne room is right there, right? It's not far.
Yeah, it's pretty close. It's pretty close to her throne. Yeah.
Paru's going to nod, and she's just going to make a small step over to the hearth and place her hand right at the base of it, and just in the corner, just druidcraft a small little stylized vined mushroom made of vines.
That's so cute. That's so good.
And then walk back.
I adore that. I adore that. Harland. Remind me again, who was there a queen you specifically spent time with? Was it Her Majesty of the Folk?
I think it would have been.
Okay. Gura is the primary focus, but Her Majesty of the Folk is there too. You have a drink with her. You have her throne room space is sort of communal when it's not being used as a theater. And there's tables, it's very tavern-like, and people come to, entreat her for help and things like that. So it's very busy. The both of you, it's like, I don't know, the Beatles and the Rolling Stones all hung out together and people are freaking out. But it's very much like a Hall of Fame sort of meeting. But she has a very friendly, very warm behavior towards you. She's, toasting and Gura's there trying to ruminate, but he's drinking a lot, so the turtle's a little glassy-eyed, and as he's sort of like sort of sinking a little bit, you and Her Majesty are the only two conscious ones at the table, and she leans a little over the table to you, Harland, and she's like, Harland, I'm more impressed with you than I think anyone expected, but I knew.
Well, ma'am, I'm mighty obliged.
You, every time I have to never look at Chris when you talk. And she has this big grin on her face, and she says, Holland, you're gonna bring something that none of them in that boring place have ever seen, and I wish I could be there to watch it.
Is it my turnip stew?
It is pretty good though. Yeah. No, I mean, and she reaches over with a kind of a clawed, like green clawed scaly finger, and points right at your chest, and she goes, you have a spark in there. You can't always do anything about it, but it's bright as all hell.
Well, ma'am, I'm mighty obliged that you say that. That I just feel that I need to get something out in the air. Out.
Please. We're all friends here. Some of us sleeping. You just hear a little snoring coming from Gura at the table.
I do have to ask, and I may be overstepping my bounds by doing so, as one of your loyal subjects.
Cannot wait. Please. Shoot.
Given the choice, are you a harlequin or a harlot?
And she has a hearty laugh for you, Harlan. And she reaches out with a hand, and she smacks you on the side of the face really gently, and just goes, I'm the queen of the fan club. Well, obviously.
Yeah.
Oliet's not there to argue. So, and she's just absolutely enchanted. But she, yeah, you drink for a little longer. It's that thing where you like basically drink till you're sleepy, and it's a really for all oh god, I'm gonna say the name of the episode. For all the pomp and circumstance of the evening, of the last few evenings, this is so familiar and homey, and that's what she is, really. She connects with people, and that's something you have in common. And so yeah, she just makes that last night feel like nothing dangerous is on the horizon. Nothing scary or nothing bizarre is about to happen to you. It just kind of feels like one of the best average days you've ever had.
Contentment, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Overwhelming sense of contentment.
Absolutely. And Oliet, Her Majesty the Word sends for you to meet her in her throne room. And actually, no, she doesn't have you meet her in her throne room. She has you meet her in her private study, the little library.
Ooh.
And there's a fire and 2 chairs. You each have a chair that you normally sit in. They're identical, oddly egalitarian of her. And you're both. And she has you sit next to her as she's sort of watching the fire. And for a long moment, you don't speak. You just sort of enjoy the crackle of the fire and the warmth of the space. There's that like whiff of library, that very comfortable smell of paper and leather, and if your nose is really good, maybe ink. And Her Majesty eventually chimes in. I regret how much will be left on your shoulders with the book. So I am sorry for that.
Wouldn't it be safer and smarter and better if I just didn't leave it, because then it can't become a thing, right? And it just stays out around us, right? And then if I'm not carrying it, there's no risk of me losing it, because I don't know where you expect me to carry it in this tutu, first of all. This thing does not have pockets. I appreciate the responsibility, but also I don't even have, I'm gonna have to get a carrying case for it. It's gonna be a whole thing. So shouldn't I just stay here with you?
And there's a little like sort of sad acknowledgement on her face that would be nice, but she says, this has not been disclosed to many, but if you don't leave, he might try to use you to leave. And that would be any of you, I mean. And that would be far more tragic than him leaving on his own. But we lose one of our champions. She kind of smiles a little at that.
Okay, yes. I don't. Okay.
And you may return. It's not exile.
Yeah, true. true.
I would be remiss if we were to keep children here who had no choice in coming here and deny them the chance to decide for themselves what they wish their life to be. And can you really make that decision if you don't look at the other side of it?
Wow, you sound like my Uncle Eb.
From what I understand, he's a obnoxiously smart man.
He is. He really is. Okay.
You are
Wait a
also
minute.
full of multitudes. I would not worry your ability to handle whatever is thrown at you.
I mean, I'm not worried about me necessarily. It's all just, it feels like it's happening really fast. I know also, I'm not a child anymore, and this didn't happen very fast, but it feels like it's happening fast. And I just,
Well, that means the time was spent well, I think.
but who's going to tell me what to do in my head?
I believe you'll have to do that on your own. It's called an inner monologue. You might grow to like it.
Fine.
Well, you'll always have me at hand if you need me. She kind of raises an eyebrow.
I guess that's true.
You'll tell your own stories. And you'll tell ours. You'll tell them very well, I'm sure. Because they'll be your way of telling them.
Okay.
Well, we can't leave them waiting.
That's true.
Well, maybe another minute. And she looks back at the fire.
Okay.
And 10 minutes passes. And you eventually you arrive in the throne room, Her Majesty the Word's throne room, and everyone is assembled, and the queens are assembled. No one else is here, though. Just you and their majesties. And Verlaine, kind of hands in pockets, comes up to you all from Her Majesty of the Trades side. And Her Majesty of the Word lifts her hands in that very familiar motion, and that pedestal comes up at the center of the room. Now then, for a more intentional trip this time, perhaps. And she motions you all to stand together near her. And she reads from the book, something you've never heard before. Once upon a time, there were 5 brave and valiant heroes. And you don't hear much of the rest of it, because fog fills the room, and you feel a little weightless. And sounds come back to you. Sounds like the air rushing past you. You hear that goddamn stampede that happened when you first arrived. You hear some shouting of children, young people. You hear the falling of books. And you blink and you're in the middle of a library stack. Red lights, dim lights everywhere, protecting the paper. There is an open book on the ground with a room illustrated on it with 6 thrones. And you all, it's been years since you've seen it. Vaguely, just vague images in your head. You spent, what, an hour here in your entire life? But the restricted section of the library is now around you.
I start checking for Button, my fire weasel, to see if he came with me, and freaking out a little bit, like, oh god, did he get left behind?
You feel a scurry around your shoulder, like he's playing tag a little bit.
Okay. Hi, buddy.
I'll pick up the book. It's just an image of the thrones, right? I don't see any people in this
You don't see any
illustration.
people, it's just the thrones. You do see the pedestal in the middle. No book, though.
Oh man. Okay. I'll pick it up and very discreetly, as I'm closing it, whisper into the pages, "Okay, we'll be back." And I'll close it and I'll put it in my bag.
Yeah. As you pick it up, though, it feels right. Like you have this little tiny twinge in your chest of like going home, just holding it down. And you hear Verlaine stretching. Okay, that was a lot less unpleasant than the first time.
Did we go back? Are we the children again? Nope.
Ugh.
I definitely don't.
You see Verlaine like, nope, still missing the one. Nah.
I mean, I wouldn't know the difference.
That's true.
I was gonna say, I don't sound like a squeak toy, so.
I definitely am built a little differently, so no.
No complaints, sunshine.
Oh,
And he
okay.
starts walking forward.
Paru chokes, like,
Like you didn't notice. And he walks forward. And
that was not the reason. It was more your reaction than.
And Verlaine looks around on the ground and you see some books knocked over. Might have been the thing you heard, but everybody give me a perception check.
Ooh,
Perceptions.
natural 20.
Nice.
Oh. Ooh, all
Ooh.
right. Very good.
And
That's a 21 total.
17.
Okay. No.
No.
So Paru and Oliet.
Ara rolled a no.
So Paru,
Or Feza.
you follow around sort of where Verlaine's looking, and you see a couple books that they seem vaguely familiar. There's one about weather. There's one about
Maritime trade.
there might be one about maritime economics.
If there is one about maritime economics, I'm picking that up and putting it in my bag.
Then you take it.
Because
Stealing. You rebel. You rebel. You. Stealing from
someone
the
asked me to move that to another library at some point. As
Weird.
yeah,
Super weird.
I did not forget.
Oliet, you hear sound from around the corner on another row. It's a
Sound like ripping pages?
nope. Sounds like something dragging on the floor.
Mm.
Can I move? Oh, Can I move out of this area and with my flying speed get up above the stacks to see over to the other side?
Sure. Yeah. You get up to the top and you look over and you see an arm with clawed fingers.
Wait, an
dragging
arm, not just
away.
a hand?
It was like this much. It's like
Okay.
it's like a little less than a forearm.
Just
It's a
wanted
gauntlet, so it's
wanted
like
to
this
be
much.
sure that nothing was growing.
Sure, it's not a whole arm. That would have been cool, and I should have said yes. So yeah, you see this
Instant
gauntlet.
terror.
You see this gauntlet.
Moving away from us?
Yeah, it's been a while. But because you got the nat 20, I'll give it to you. You remember it going away, like it scurried off when it got out of the book the first time.
Okay, I don't want to scare it, but I am going to cast message to Beza.
Okay.
And say, Beza, how sure is your blade? Because I think we're about to need it.
I mean, they're both pretty good.
Olia, you're on top of the stacks, and you see a shock of white hair turn the corner, and a knife get pulled out, and Villain very casually steps over this thing and is like, "What?" And he picks it up, and it's heavy, but it's going. Just doing that.
You don't know where that thing has been.
Been in the book. Who cares? And he takes it and he like smashes it on the ground, and like a finger chips off. Yeah, see? It's just a little shithead. It's fine.
Well, stab it. Let Beza smash it. Something. Don't let it keep going.
If you and it takes a second for Villain to react to that request, and he's just like, all right. Takes the big like jagged black dagger that he has and just goes and just stabs the thing. And you see from the stab wound in this stone gauntlet, you just watch like it's not blood, it's ink seeping from the wound in this gauntlet, and just and the ink kind of takes over the arm, and then just sort of it flattens into a puddle, and Villain's got the dagger still stuck in the stone because he must have stabbed pretty hard. That's pretty fucking gross. And you watch, Olia, as the ink just into the dagger. Fuck. He spins it, puts it back in his bag, or puts it back in his belt. See? All good.
So you're just fine. You're just fine with that. That weird, scary, terrifying thing is now in your dagger. You're fine with that.
There are weirder things in it. Shrugs.
Can things get out of it?
No, not that I know of.
That's both useful and kind of weird.
I thought so too.
You always did have the most interesting crime tricks. And she kind of winks at him.
Sunshine, we were in a book. Ink. Book. It's just theming, alright? It's performance. Don't worry about it.
Oh my god.
And are we
Still
leaving
terrifying.
or what? Well, I mean, that's also the point. Sure.
I mean, we're supposed to leave, but is that Jane? Wait, what was her name? The elf at the beginning. Was it Jane?
Janet?
Jane. Yes,
Jane.
Janet. Janet.
Is that Janet lady from the beginning gonna?
I have literally not thought about Janet in like ever.
We
Yeah,
also
me
look
neither, but-
very different. So
Yeah,
probably not gonna
back.
Oh, you don't look any different.
Nope, I don't.
Maybe we could just put a hat and a mustache, and like she just waltz out. We already got the hat. Okay.
Button. And like place Button's tail, like.
Just a large beard. Just a
This
Oh.
itches.
scratches. Actually, it's more like tile. It's like scales.
I mean, I could just, like freeze, and one of you could say I stopped working.
That's true. I will say, Button is very warm, which is very nice for a Goa who does not have much in terms of internal body temperature. So the fire weasel is very comfy on your shoulders.
I mean, if one of you just wants to carry me, we could say I stopped working, and if I don't move, she's not going to know the difference. It's not like
I
a
will-
breeze.
I'll get right on that. And he like just like there's a little muscle there, but it's like not enough to carry.
Yeah. Haru looks down like, Beza, I can't lift you.
Oh, yeah.
Harland might be able to lift you. And
Yeah.
Olia, no offense, but I don't think you can lift her either.
I mean, I'm not. I also, at the mention of Janet, these like alarm bells started going off in the back
God,
of
my book
Oliette's head.
report!
Like, the book report! No! But I don't. I'm like stifling it. It's fine. Don't panic.
You have to
It's
take
way
a
overdue.
pillow and you have to make that Oliette stop talking.
Even partial credit. Like, there's just no way. Don't let it go. Just let
Is
it go.
there dust on the ground or anything? Like, can we tell how much time has passed? Does it look... I mean, obviously the books are still there. Because we have no idea if we've come back the same day or...
Give me another perception check as you're actively looking around for...
Natural 20.
Nice.
Oh, well then.
So that's a 25 total.
Okay.
Ooh.
You are glancing around the bookshelves as Villain's sort of taking point, kind of sauntering down through the restricted section towards the exit, and you look around, and it's a little hard to see in the red dim light. Doesn't look dusty. I mean, they probably dust.
Well, if they dust, then the
No.
same books wouldn't be on the floor.
Though you wonder the logic of the same books being.
Well, and the hand had only made it this far from
Didn't
We
make it
can't
much
have been-
further.
gone that long, right?
Yeah.
That makes no sense.
Maybe there's like maybe everything just froze in time, or gone, and the restricted section was in a little bubble.
Well, I mean, we were in a book, right? You can read years and years worth of stuff in a book in a couple of hours. The characters can age a lot in a book in a couple of hours, right? Like that fairy tale you taught me to read with, Oliette.
I am just mouth agape at the smartest thing I've heard all day. Just what?
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's
Did I say something stupid?
No.
no, not at all.
I don't think I've ever heard you say something stupid.
I've had my moments. Just don't ask Tuskendale about, the Bogast.
Is that a spirit that you encounter in a liquor establishment?
Yeah, I was waiting. Yeah, thank you, Kyle.
No, it was something we fought, and well, I didn't ask a question until after I ended up underneath it, and I should have asked the question a couple hours before.
I have been there.
That was in character. That was both in and out of
Harlan-
character.
Harlan, you hear Villain go, "Ew,"
Boom.
up top, big guy, and he has to kind of.
No, I wasn't.
I'm simultaneously shook and impressed.
So,
Man,
So
you guys
you all-
got busy. I was just hanging out with mushrooms.
you just hear a foot tapping on the floor as Villain is leaning against a bookshelf. Like, are we going? Like, what's up?
Yeah, let's jet.
Okay, I guess.
He's a little. It looks a little antsy. Kind of
Tumbleweed,
looking
I'm
down the
tumble.
stacks, like, oh, who knows how long that break was for that librarian
Oh my
dude.
god, that's right.
Oh, I forgot about that guy. Wasn't he supposed to come back for us? That's what a terrible custodian of children. Who trusted him?
We did,
I
apparently.
mean,
They're
be
gonna
fair-
hear about this on that comment card you write for all of us.
well, that's true. But also, to be fair, he might not have. I mean, he might have been the only one who volunteered for the job.
Whatever. Let's
Oh
just
my
get out of
god.
here.
If they put us in here for being strange as children, what the hell are they gonna make of us now?
That's a good question. I still look like a child. Well,
I
Sort of.
dare anyone to treat you like a child.
Sailor, Beza.
I found in my travels that if you just act like you are supposed to be somewhere, people treat you like you are supposed to be there. So I think that we
That's-
just pretend like we are
yeah.
supposed to be here as we make our way not here.
Alright.
fair.
And Harlan, you watch Villain turn into a almost your height version of yourself, thumbs sticking into the overalls and going, "Well, I'm just a poor country furbolg."
I thought that was funny the first 15 times I saw it, and it's still pretty damn funny.
Oh, thank you. Villain shifts back. But it was Harlan with a giant scar on his face over his eye, so it was like a hardcore, like post-apocalyptic AU version of Harlan.
Hardland.
What was that?
Hardland.
Hardland.
Hardland. That
Oh my
is
gosh.
canonically now what happened. What it is called when Villain takes Harlan's form. Hard-boiled blend. So Villain kind of. Shall we?
Yeah, let's go.
Hey, Tumbleweed.
All right.
I'm assuming if we're just walking, you don't necessarily want button on your face.
I mean, he's warm. It feels kind of nice.
Okay.
I don't mind carrying him.
Alright.
I mean, if Button pretends like he is supposed to be there,
Then
Oh,
awesome. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, I'm realizing that the Queen of the Hunt's land was kind of warm. And it's not as warm here. I'm starting to feel it a little. Might have to actually wear clothes.
What a burden.
Oh, I mean, you know,
I know.
I don't really need them since I'm carved with them.
I mean, I had the opposite issue being with the mushroom folk because none of them wore clothes, and I did, so I was the odd person out there. Oh well, let's go.
Oh my god. If it's only been like a couple hours.
that means it's not even mealtime yet.
It's a good thing.
We can still get food and drink.
Mm.
I don't know
Oh.
if you remember, but that's the least. No.
I don't want food and drink.
I'd only tried the drink option. I had not tried the food options yet. Except
As
for
as this bit is happening, Juliet, Villain kind of slows down and like starts walking next to you. So, what are you thinking?
How am I gonna explain this to my uncle? He's not gonna understand. This is insanity. How are we gonna explain this to anybody?
Maybe we don't. Just go somewhere else.
So we just show up
No.
like half a day. What do you?
Just do something
Don't show
else.
up?
Yeah, just do something else.
No. I thought the whole reason we came back here was to be in our world.
And we
And go
are.
back to where we came
like-
from.
This is where we came from. Why are you getting hung up on like particulars? Like
Your whole deal, this whole thing is very hot, but when it comes down to brass tacks, I have family. Like, I can't. I mean, I look amazing, but it's not going to be very easily explained to someone who just saw me hours ago as a 12-year-old kid.
Good genes.
Good genes. No, that's Harlan. He's in good genes. Sorry. I will try not to objectify the fur
No.
folk.
We'll do our best.
Valine just kind of, he can only emote with one eyebrow effectively. That's great, Sunshine. I'm glad you got people.
I mean, you have people too. You have us. I'm not saying you don't have people. I'm just saying some of us are in a little bit of a conundrum.
And there's kind of a little bit of a stony expression as you keep walking. Looks like Valine's shutting down a little bit. It's fine. We'll get you home. You go figure out what you're gonna do.
I'm not
Convinced you.
opposed to starting over. We've started over once before.
That's true. I mean, to be fair, I only spent a couple of hours with the person that created me, my dad, I guess technically, but I don't look any different. He wouldn't know that you guys had aged if we want to use that as a starting point. And he's one of the metronomes, so we can travel from there.
He have questions about the fact that you are only 2 days old and yet have a lifetime of experience under your belt.
Well, I mean, that depends on how much time we spend there, right?
Yeah.
It's a fair point.
Oh yeah, I know you want to see your uncle and you love them, but maybe going back into a household that saw you as a child, they're gonna treat you like a child again, even though you're not. Wouldn't it make sense to put down roots together where we know we can trust one another and slowly integrate ourselves back in with folk if we want to? I mean, yeah, I'm concerned about my family, but I think our work for the Queens is more important, and I almost wonder about being a liability with them. If we go home, what's to say the king doesn't just show up at our door and endanger our families? Maybe it's better to stay separate. Besides, we've got each other. It's family enough, right? She kind of elbows Elaine a little bit in the hip because that's about as high as she could reach.
Yeah, sure thing.
I mean, you guys are more my family than the person that made me. And, I mean, seems kind of weird to say. It hadn't really occurred to me before, but I guess Sir Tuskendale and the Queen of the Hunt were more like my parents than my creative parents. Now I'm confused.
If we need a place to lay low, there's lots of room out where I originally hail from, out with the Bogs. We could gather our senses and decide what next steps to do out there.
No matter where we go, at least we're together.
I think that's the important thing.
This is the first time in such a long time that Oliette has felt unsure of herself again. This is very... I think she's really struggling with this, like... The two Oliettes are battling right now. The one that wants to be snarky and, like, I'm gonna do it my way, and the one that wants to do what is responsible and correct and whatever the rules would dictate in this situation, but there are no rules. But I think finally I will just say, I mean, I don't have a better plan. So sure, we can go to the farm or wherever, because it's a good point about the liability thing.
And
Whatever.
if my travels in the Queen's realm have taught me anything, it's that wherever you go, you are there. You are.
So wait. God damn it.
Now, you can find a way to enact helpful change wherever you might find yourself. That someone is always in need of assistance, and if you are there, you can render that assistance to that person, whether they appreciate it or not at the time.
I mean, let's be honest, if I go back underground, I'm just liberating all the mushrooms again.
That was me, not Verlaine. Verlaine is.
I would have appreciated that more if it was Verlaine.
Yeah, but he's being a grump right now.
Yeah, I know.
And Verlaine is just kind of, as this whole conversation, Verlaine has checked out a little bit and has just started like kind of parsing through bookshelves in sort of a bored, slight, mopey, tantrumy kind of way. And you all, there's like a, let me think of how to describe this. There's like a whoa that you suddenly feel a little bit, like you feel like in you, there's maybe like a slight stomach ache. And I need everybody to roll me a D100.
Oh, no.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
I'm afraid.
74?
Okay.
I also rolled a 74. That's ridiculous.
That'll be amazing. 15. Okay. And what'd you get, Harland?
21.
Okay. 15, 21. Okay. Let's see.
That's wild, Tessa. I cannot
yes,
believe
I was like,
that.
what the hell?
That's insane.
All right, so this whoom happens, and let me see. Verlaine kind of like stumbles back a little bit, and one of the books, as they're like he gets his finger stuck on one of the books, as he pulls it back, the book just melts into water and just goes in the water everywhere. I didn't do that. And Harland, you start glowing like a glow stick, like bright blue, and there's just blue light cast everywhere around you on the steps or on the bookshelves.
Okay, how are you doing that? You shouldn't even get spores to do that. That's not fair. I can't just glow on command.
Beza, oh Jesus. Beza, you feel a rumble in your stomach if you had one. And you know what? You could really go for some food and drink right now.
Oh my god.
It's the weirdest sensation. You've heard it described many times, but you've never yourself experienced this hunger before. And it's a very uncomfortable sensation. And Beza and Oliet, you
mean Paro?
Paru?
Oh yeah, sorry. Paru and Oliet are the ones that
I did it earlier.
No, yeah, I got you. You feel very, very like. It feels like a sudden cold came on you, like a chew cold.
Mm-hmm.
And just like all of your arms just feel like really sore and weak. Um, for the next hour, your strength is halved.
Oh, cool, because I was
great.
super strong before.
Yep. Let me
It's
just
the lucky one.
take that 13 down to a 7.
All right, I'm at a 5.
Woo!
Oh boy.
And yeah, and you all just stand there, and some weird shit just happened to all of you, except Beza. Beza seems normal to all of you.
You guys want to get some fries or like what?
Yeah, we should get some we should get like a cheeseburger. This is how Beza starts talking like a valley girl. I could really go for like a milkshake at the mall.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, so and Valaine's just like he just like puts their shoe through the water. That's just a puddle.
What did you do? I feel gross.
I just touched the book. I didn't do anything. I've been touching
Oh.
books the whole time.
I think that might have been my fault. I do apologize.
Did you have like a magic burp or something?
It has been known to happen.
Okay, I
Just
feel like
many things, though, man.
I wouldn't put it past it. It's chaos.
Kind of fair.
That was really weird. Why does my middle feel kind of empty? And like food actually sounds good.
Are you actually hungry, right? Does anybody have anything we can feed her? Because oh my gosh, I've been waiting for this moment the entire time I've known you.
All you have is mushrooms, Par.
I know.
I don't know. What does hungry feel like?
Like kind of a gnawing ow sensation right about here.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And my mouth feels dry.
I'm
Thirsty. Well, that I can help. And like,
Okay. All right.
No. Let's see how this
Slow,
goes.
step by step here.
Para's like, no. Let's
Let's let this play out.
I was like, I'm curious.
Is this what it feels like when you guys have to eat and drink?
Yeah.
Oh, this sucks.
This is what we feel
I do have
every
some-
day.
Some
Multiple
beef a bit,
times a day.
if that would be your preference.
Say that again.
Some beef a bear jerky.
Beef a bear.
Honestly, just like lemon water and like half an apple.
Oh my god.
What?
Valine and Par.
It doesn't look good for no reason.
Oh my god.
Valine and Para were like, no.
I mean, lemons smell good, so that doesn't sound that bad.
Exactly.
It's
Oh,
refreshing
exactly.
on a hot day, I will say.
And
that.
apples smell good, but why would you only eat half of one? Is that all it takes? I don't know how much
mean,
the hunters put away a lot of food.
Please, I want to hear about Oliet's diet regimen. No.
all I'm saying is that you can burn off apples in water really fast. This tutu fits me this way for a very specific reason. And it's because I don't fill my body with all kinds of nonsense like cake and really anything that's worth living for. But look at me. Hello. So
Have you heard of
apples
dough?
are acceptable. Lemon water is acceptable. Sometimes you can eat things that are spicy because they evacuate quickly.
Valaine's like, I'm gonna keep walking. I'm good. And
Here's some jerky, Basil.
Thank you. Does anyone have anything to drink?
Do I?
Take the flask.
I mean, I could. My constitution's pretty.
Can Basil
Valaine's
get
just-
intoxicated?
Constitution's a 16, and I'm immune to poison. Or no, resistant to poison, immune to disease.
probably. Actually, I would say the poison part is why you get intoxicated, so I actually don't know if that's true. That's just my reading of it. So, as you're all there contemplating, one, the weirdness of watching Beza try to eat a piece of jerky, and Beza, as you're trying to intuit how to chew,
Have a throat? Is that?
Yeah, but like faster. You don't have to
Yeah.
just yip like that, but faster.
you all are deafened by the sound of a very deep, very intense sort of noise. It's not the same as the horn that you'd heard here before. It's angry sounding and like official sounding. And you
We should go.
yeah. And Villain's like, yeah, sounds good. And Villain pulls their dagger out, sort of keeps it to their side, and walks forward through the stacks. You leave the restricted section and are in the main hallways of the library. And as you start heading out, you hear that noise again.
Okay, maybe a little faster.
And you hear some shouting, and coming around the corner in front of you, probably about 60 feet off, you see the I don't remember what his name was. Hold on, I have it written down. Maybe I don't. You see the librarian. It's been ages. Who knows what his name is? I think it's Josiah. Yeah, it's Josiah. You see Josiah, who is someone. I'm gonna say it was a human. And he sort of slides over in his little like tracksuit, his like tan tracksuit thing, and like points that direction. No, I heard it from there. And you see behind him step two figures you have never seen anything like before. They are faceless except for two white glowing eyes. They are built and tall and just a muscular, sort of masculine figure covered in like silver skin, and across every inch of their face in perfect horizontal lines you see writing, mathematics, numbers, symbols, runes, all very tiny all across them, and holding what look like perfectly shaped like rectangles made of metal, and they're holding them in their fists. And you see these. Go ahead.
Have they seen us?
They have turned and see you down the aisle.
Like we're supposed to be here. We just keep walking.
Duck around a stack. Duck around a stack as fast as we can.
Okay. You breakfast club it, sliding into a hallway or into a row, and you hear quieter, not the same booming noise. And there's step. You hear steps coming down the aisle, and you all are kind of pressed up against a door frame, and Villain is sort of in the middle. All right, so what do we do? We're just gonna like run, or book it, like blow something up, make them.
Those things.
How well do I remember Janet's face?
Roll me history.
Oh God, I shouldn't have asked.
To be honest, probably history.
Oh, okay, that's actually not bad. It's a natural 17 plus history, so 23.
Yeah, okay, so you've got a pretty decent. She made an impression, and especially the moment you remembered the book report, her judgmental face came flooding back. So yeah, you remember what Janet looks like, for the most part.
I'm going to disguise self into Janet.
Okay.
Wait, you both
Sure.
could do that?
Well, and Villain looks at you, and he's like, that's a really, really fucking good idea. And you watch him change into Janet too.
No!
No. Listen to me. No, listen to me.
Oh my God. Sorry. The horror.
No. no, listen. And you hear Janet's voice. It's very weird hearing her go, listen, listen.
Oh.
I should stop talking. But if you distract the fuckos in the other hallway, you'll be able to. I can run a different direction, and they can get confused by the fact that there's two Janets. No?
Okay.
This is terrible.
Fine. No, it's fine. It's fine. We just gotta get out of here. We gotta move. We'll go.
Should I get tiny? Should I get tiny and go with one of them?
Can you?
Can I get tiny? Did you... Mouse.
Oh god, it's so cute. Okay, focus.
I climb into Valaine's pocket.
Oh. Nope, that's not happening. and Valaine's just like, no. Harlan.
The most condescending mouse look possible. Like, really? Really?
Don't judge me, you're 3 inches tall. Pops you into Harlan's front pocket on his overalls. There, you can see now. Oh my god! See that? Yes!
Yay!
Thank you.
Oh my god.
Perfect. I knew still having those was going to come in handy.
Okay, well, if you're Janet and I'm Janet, then we both should be able to make it to the entrance of the school without issue. So just go there. Whatever happens, just go there. And we'll just walk out of here.
Sure.
Okay,
So-
just act like Janet.
What are the walls made out of?
Well, maybe it looks like metal.
Looks like metal. Like
It's kind of hard to judge, but maybe like a really dull, like what's behind me, like a really dull bronze.
Drat. How about the floors?
Concrete, like stone, but like the smallest hairline edges between very large, square tiles of stone.
Perfect.
Very precise.
So Harlan is, as the gang retreats, is going to lean down and touch the stone, and his hands begin to glow a little bit, and an image begins to take shape embedded in the stone. That looks like forced perspective, a tunnel going down.
Okay.
So
Very good. Okay.
casting mold earth, I can cause an image to appear in stone.
Very nice. Very nice.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. Cool. And that's like the way they're coming, the way these figures are coming towards you down, like on that side of the. Okay. Cool.
If you're standing like at the edge, it like looks like a tunnel just going down into the earth.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. So you, so the group of you are just sort of like, okay, we're gonna do this, right? Remind me again, Oliet, can you do that at will?
No, I had to use a spell slot to do that.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure what. Yeah.
Mage Hand and Message are cantrips, but
Gotcha. For some reason, my brain was like, "You're a warlock, right? That's a thing you can do."
no. Oh god, I wish.
There's the campaign is young, so
Yeah, you never know. Yeah, as we're like preparing to leave, I guess. Well, Harlan, you're the most. You should be here. Can you get us to the? Do you remember how?
What is your question?
Can you just? I don't know. Do something, Harlan. Just be confident.
Watching Janet panic like this is very disconcerting. And then the other Janet picking at her teeth.
The mouse in his pocket
With a
goes,
jagged scar down her face. Like it does occur to you that it is not a very good representation of Janet.
This is
Yes.
the mouse face palms.
Oh my god.
Does anyone have a match?
Do I have a
I can create a spark. And she flips out her blade.
I specifically need a flame, unfortunately.
Hold on, can I do that? I can't do that today. I'm not ready.
Are you just gonna set books on fire?
Oh my
No, of course
god! I can't cast it.
I have a better idea. There's a little bit of a middle distance stare. Janet fades, and it's just Verlaine. Yeah, that could work. Okay. I got this. And he has his knife out. Go. I got this. And he looks around, he kind of goes down looks for a really big book. Just a big fucking huge book. Grabs it. And he walks around the other side of the aisle. He starts heading that direction.
Y'all come back now.
May I
Oh my
assist you?
god, so good. Oh gosh, I realize I can't do anything to stop Elaine, but before they walk away, I am going to grab the lapel of their jacket and kiss them, and with message say, "Please don't do anything stupid," and then I will let them walk away.
Oh, you're gonna be mad at me. And you head. What way do you guys head? I mean, he's heading the way you guys were running before, so you could follow him and then break
we
off.
should probably split up, right?
I
You
think
start hearing
Check
these
this out.
footsteps and this sort of like humming.
Nope.
So you all
Do
start
we know where the
following.
exit is? Just
Yeah.
out of curiosity.
They were in the way
If-
of the exit. They're starting to come forward though, so at least there might be a way to.
I would
juke
say
'em.
yeah, just start
Like, go
dart,
around.
just like go around. Yeah, it's like panic mode at this point. Just take off.
Sure. And if any of you get a glimpse of Verlaine as you're sort of running around a stack, you see Verlaine step forward a little bit where these things are walking, and he's just like, "Yo, hey, here, boy." And the
Buttons like
two,
no.
like, let's call them number terminators.
Oh my god.
Look squarely at Verlaine, and you see now that those rectangles they were holding in their hands now have just pure light coming out of them, like a
Oh.
blade. And Verlaine's like, "Oh yeah, that's pretty cool. I got one too." And he has this knife, and he puts the book on the ground or on the table, and just stabs the book. And you watch ink fill the top of this book, and it explodes in a cloud of paper. And everything in the space, you can't see hardly anything around Verlaine. And this cloud of paper starts swirling in this little torrent, and a figure starts to form in the pages of this book. You see wings. You see giant claws and a big snout.
Oh no.
You watch Verlaine like book it around the cloud, and in its place is this drake. Not a full dragon, but a very large creature.
I
On
thought
all
you were about to say
fours.
gargoyle and I freaked out.
No, it's wings made of paper. There's words etched in them, and it just flaps with this like, it's like sort of paper flapping noise, and it eyes these two terminators, and its tail whips, and it looks around at the library, and just starts like, it looks like it's trying to do a dragon's breath, except in reverse. You watch ink being sucked up from the books into this thing's mouth, and words start etching all over its wings and across its chest and its head. You're not sure what it's doing, but it might be wiping some of the library.
Oh, just stifle a gag and run.
And
Or
yeah,
walk briskly.
walk briskly.
Walk
as-
Janet like.
Hello. Order, numbers, something, schedule. And you just keep walking. And yes, you all book it in the tumult of this giant paper drake just having its way with the front of the library. And the two Terminators just start just running at this thing. It's the last thing you see as you all just sort of like fucking round a corner like, we don't need to see this. We don't need to see this.
Elaine like ducked around.
Yeah, Verlaine, you don't see Verlaine anymore. Verlaine got scarce. Mm-hmm. And you hear more sort of happening as you all are rushing through like what ostensibly has become sort of a crowd of people freaking out. And oh my god, Kyle, I didn't see you put them on your head. So everybody roll me I guess a stealth. Roll me a stealth check. None of you are in uniform except for Janet.
I'm a mouse.
You're okay. You're fine.
No, it
Beza
was my fault. Mouse. I forgot to unmute myself, so my players could hear me, but stream couldn't. Sorry about that.
Beza and Harlan, roll me stealth checks, and give me a performance check, Olivia.
Okay, good. Because I was like, well, I'll use the same roll if you want. That's fair.
Fine. Whatever.
The sheet says I have advantage on stealth, but I'm trying to remember why.
Do you have like a weapon of warning or something? No? What if you click on it? Does it say why? Sometimes it says why if you hover over it. Or...
I forgot about stone camouflage.
Oh.
The Goa thing.
Yeah, so you have as a miniature, yeah. You have let's say it's situational advantage. So it depends. I would say you are trying to blend in with people, not stone right now, so probably not advantage.
That is fair.
I got a 15 for performance.
Okay. Something scheduled. yeah, you're pretty convincing. It's been a while, but like something in the back of your head kind of rewinds and refreshes with what you think Janet was like. And
I can't have that advantage if I'm trying to act like some sort of automaton following Janet.
That's not camouflage.
Okay,
that's performance. If you want to give me a performance check.
Despite the lack of bonus, I might roll better because I rolled a 1 on my stealth check.
Okay. It's not a big deal. I mean, it's a 1, but let's stick with the 1. We'll play it out. It'll be okay.
Janet was in charge of you. You should be fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, I mean, I would say of anybody here, you are like, yeah, you were the person that was in the place anyway. So you have absolutely no means of hiding from anybody. That people are sort of like, oh, whoa, like they notice you and run around you, but they see you. Harland, what did you roll for stealth? 10. You're a big blue guy. People are also kind of like, what the? And you hear a little bit of shouting and a little bit of pointing towards you, and you see another one of these. I'm gonna save you all the trouble. They're called algorithms.
Nice.
Another one of these algorithms comes from around a corner and is way in the back. It's like 100 feet behind you, but definitely sees you and starts sort of marching in your direction. So booking it faster would be better. So you try really, really hard to follow directions on the walls, and you're bouncing through this huge crowd of people that are all kind of getting a little caught up in the chaos of what's going on. I mean, chaos is unacceptable here, and it's a little intense to hear that there's a dragon in the library. I thought you ought to know. There, yeah. And you all rush the opposite direction of everybody else, trying to find a way out. Give me, Olia, give me an investigation check. You have information, you sort of know where you are, and you're trying to find your way out, figuring out how to get out.
Okay, investigation. Oh, 19.
19. You are looking at signage, even though some of the signage has that weird math again. But you do recognize a corridor, and you're, oh, this is where we came in. And you make a really sharp turn down one hallway, and you know that you are getting close to the metro station. So you all haul ass down towards this metro station, and the four of you run down the stairs, and there's this station space, and you see a little flashing light, and some light coming in the tunnel, as a metronome train is coming down into the station from this place. And you hear the distant noises of the crowd, and you hear some crashing. Ooh, things are happening in that library that Oliet would not want to see. And and yeah, so you're in the station, and you remember there being something following you, but you don't see any evidence of it yet.
You said that there were stairs down into the into the
Correct. They were also stone, like the floor of the library.
As we go, Harlan is like slowing himself down a little bit, just to make sure that, like, as he departs, it becomes difficult terrain. He's basically like causing the steps to buckle and kind of warp
Okay.
and whatnot.
Yeah.
You're
making it all craggy.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So you all are there on the edge of the train station, waiting for the metro train to show up. It's almost there. It's like less than a minute. It'll show up, and it's the four of you at the station.
Where's Verlaine?
I'm gonna cast message. Where are you? How close are you? We're at the train.
You don't hear anything back, so more than 60 feet, one would assume.
Paru kind of scrambles down like, you want me to go check? I can get in and out real fast.
Train starts pulling into the station.
He did say that he was going to meet us, so I mean, we could always get on the train and then wait for him until the last possible moment.
Okay, yeah. Yep, okay.
Doors open. You hear coming down the hall. Very distinct, heavy footsteps.
God.
Let me double check.
Yeah. I'm trying to see if I have anything that'll help.
Shoot, that's not gonna work. So message goes 120 feet. Can I try again?
120? Sorry.
Yeah.
Do you have to see the thing you're talking to?
With message, I don't have to see them, but if they are either past 120 feet or through a solid object that is more than 3 feet of wood, a foot of stone, an inch of metal, or a thin sheet of lead, it can't go through those surfaces.
Okay. It's pretty substantial station made of stone.
Yeah. So he might not even be getting it. Okay.
Okay. Paru is going to pop out of. Are there any other animals around, like any other like little mice or a bird or something
Not
that I
that
can
you
see?
can see, this place is very well fumigated, one assumes.
Can I use Button to cast Animal Messenger?
Sure.
So I grab Button.
Technically a fictional animal. Technically conjured.
Yeah.
I'd allow it.
I grab Button and I cast Animal Messenger.
You're just holding this lizard.
Because he knows
Oh,
Verlaine.
weasel?
He knows Verlaine.
Sure.
So
Sure.
tell Verlaine we're going to the farm. And I give him the stop that whatever Harlan tells.
There's a map on the wall if you need to give a stop. Sure.
We will wait for him there. Go quick. Go. So she
hops down. Weasel's just like,
yeah,
run.
Okay.
Runs around the corner.
That's the best I can do.
What do the people look like coming off of the train?
There's nobody coming off the train. Nobody driving the train either. It seems automated.
Okay.
It's a tram. It's called a tram. You hear the figure coming around the corner with a sword made of pure white light. There's craggy stairwell. It's gonna be a little bit, but
Reluctantly step on board the train.
Pyro gets on, knowing that sending Button is the best she can do in this situation. So at least, because Button will search for at least 24 hours for Verlaine.
Okay.
So
yeah.
And knowing that Button at least knows Verlaine's face. So.
Okay.
She hops up.
You watch as the algorithm opens a hand and light starts filling its hand from the distance it's at, and it looks like it's getting ready to lob something at you, and you all rush into the train as this is happening, and the door's slowly closing. And as the train starts sort of automatically moving, you watch as this thing lets go of the ball of light and lobs it towards the train, and you all hear this concussive sort of noise, and it just fills your ears. And everybody give me a dexterity save as the sort of energy from this hits the train and seems to go through the train and hit you all.
14.
Okay.
9.
Okay.
You said con or dex?
Dex.
14.
Okay.
18.
Harlan, you watch as the three of your friends get hit with this sort of concussive blast and just get rocketed around the car, and they seem a little stunned when they hit the ground. You sort of steel yourself a little bit, and you're able to kind of hold on to like a handle on the train and like keep your wits about you a little bit. You are only going to take 6 force damage, and the others are going to take 12 force damage.
Ouch.
Where's my damn lady? 12. Ah!
And you are stunned for the next turn, but we're not in combat, so you're stunned for a few seconds. And by the time the three of you come to from this, the train's moving. You're in a tunnel. There's very fake fluorescent lighting flickering, and you all hear a sound that you're all familiar with, Beza more than most, but you hear of the metronome train moving. And you're all just in the silence of this, and you hear the train moving, the wheels under on the rail, and you're all moving.
You guys okay?
Ow.
Just fine.
Paro's got
When-
like a bloody nose.
Oh,
When will? How does it work with Button? When will we know if it got to Villain?
I don't know. I don't know. Button. We'll have 24 hours to deliver the message, and then he'll forget. And I don't know if that means he'll forget me or where we're going. Maybe our best hope. But that might be the last time I get to see Button. But I couldn't think of anything else. It's the best thought I had.
It was the best we could do in the moment, I'm sure.
It was a good thought.
Sorry, Part. I hope Button comes back.
Me too. I hope Villain comes with him. That's my hope, because he finds Villain, and then he hangs out with Villain, and Villain just comes to us, and Button comes with him. Best case scenario.
This actually reminds me of a time that Valone and I were being tracked down by a rather sinister force. Late one evening, we were on our way back from a particular adventure, and we were trying to make it back to the inn where we had a room, and we had to escape. And unfortunately, we did get separated, but he made it back to the room before I did. Actually, he was safe and sound, but I did get captured by this sinister force for the duration of about 2.5 hours.
Were you running from Harlequins or Harlots?
Harlots.
Mm-hmm. Hence
Yeah.
the 2.5 hours.
that was and if Villain was there, they would say, yeah, that was certainly a hard day's night.
Oh my god.
So the train continues moving, and I'm aware that my timekeeping was not accurate there compared to the first time I did it.
That's right.
It's very accurate and regular.
Out of turn.
And yeah, it turned, yeah. And you're all on your way. You watch a little bit. Eventually, you break the tunnel. There's a light, and you're outside. And only for a moment, you get a glimpse of some like pasture land. Very regimented blocks of land. And then on the other side is a wall. Just a huge concrete-looking wall. One of the things that separates you from outside. It's the thing that is around all the chronograms, all these city-states. And eventually the train starts dipping down underground again through a tunnel. And, you're leaving chronogram 4 to the next area. As far as you remember, there's nothing worth looking at between the chronograms. It's chaos. It's danger and wasteland.
Or at least so we've been told.
So you've been
Right.
told.
While we're on this train, can I take the book out of my bag?
Sure.
Are there any blank pages?
Start flipping through it. As you get near the back, there are a few blank.
Probably in slightly shaky handwriting between the experience and the moving train.
Mhm.
I just write. I don't know if you can see this, but the champion of the Queen of the Trade has immediately been lost. But we're on it. And that's all I write, and I'll put it back in the book. I don't know if anything happens, but I just
Sure.
write it down.
You close the book.
You know, you could always write your uncle a letter. It might be the easiest way to explain what's happened and arrange a time to meet so you can explain more of your tale. Maybe lessen the shock a little bit rather than showing up fully grown.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. I just my uncle is he's a wonderful person, but there's nothing whimsical or fantastical about him. And I don't know if he has the capacity to meet me where I am now.
So you don't think he'd be all right seeing you?
I don't know. I have no idea. I really don't know. It doesn't make sense. We are people who don't we make sense. We are people who make sense, and this makes no sense. So I don't know.
Your previous relationship with your uncle incline you to believe that he might be willing to entertain alternate means of thinking? Or would your previous relationship, would you want to respect the previous relationship that you had to the point where you would want to reach out and give him this opportunity? If you did not, there's no harm, no foul. But if you did,
I would have to. I think I just need to sleep on it. I'm not.
no one's forcing.
I don't know. I don't understand. I don't understand. I thought we would come back to the same time. I thought we would come back and everybody would be, 8, 12, whatever, however years older. I forgot that was happening, and I didn't expect to. This doesn't. I don't know.
Elliot, you feel the book in your hands. A little warm.
Okay. I guess I'll. Oh, the only thing that's changed is me writing in it, so I'll open it back to where I was writing.
Mm-hmm. You see in really beautiful script, sort of as you open the book, kind of bleeding through the page in like this beautiful opalescent. It's a little hard to see in the light sometimes. And it just says, stay close to each other. Stay close to the book. And you should not stray far from one another.
Okay. I don't really say anything. I'll just put it back in my bag.
In a meta commentary, so long as Oliet has the book, and I'll explore variations of what'll happen in certain circumstances, but as long as Oliet is holding the book, and you are all within 60 feet of each other, you can freely message each other.
Ooh.
All
Would
right.
Watch that come and bite me in the ass later.
Would
But
I would
the people have to be within 60 feet of you, Oliet.
Narratively, would I
every-
know that or be able to explain that to them?
That's kind
Okay.
of what she was trying to get at.
Got it.
And
Got
maybe
it.
when you have a chance to kind of attune with the book, think more about it. I was hoping at some point maybe it would accidentally happen, but you gotta kind of hope that someone wants to say something to someone else. So yeah, that's the gist. Is you have a sort of a limited form of sending stones, but it's only within 60 feet of you. Well, the book.
So I was gonna ask too, is it like message where is is it walkie-talkie style? We can go
It's
back and forth, or is it
walkie-talkie
cool.
style?
Cool.
For the purposes of making this way less obnoxious.
Okay, fair.
So yeah, telepathically you guys can talk to each other if you're within 60 feet of the book.
Okay, so it's kind of like the old Rary's telepathic bond.
Yeah.
Okay.
Specifically tied to the presence of the book. One would think that counts for Verlaine too, but you'll have to try that at some point.
Okay. If I understood that in that moment then, which I guess she would have, I think I would probably just explain that right away, because the risk of us getting separated again feels very high, and I want to encourage everybody to just stay close together.
Yeah. I mean, there's at least that impulse of, okay, if we're down one, I don't want to lose the other three.
Right, exactly.
Haru.
Does that include Button?
I think you need to have a certain level of intelligence. It's about the heroes of the book.
Haru
What were you gonna
puts
say,
her
Tessa?
hand on this. I'm assuming it's like seats and everything that we're sitting in. She's gonna puts her hand along the back of the seat and trails her finger. Is there like a rail or something that's behind it, by any chance?
Sure. Yeah.
And uses Druidcraft.
I hadn't thought about the train that hard. So yeah.
to
what do you Druidcraft?
Just a couple of little tiny thorn mushrooms.
Okay.
As something small and subtle that if Verlaine gets on a train, he might know, okay, we've been
If
here.
they get on that train.
If they get on this train, they'll know that.
Yeah.
Just she's doing her best to leave seed crumbs the best she can. So she crafts a little thing of mushrooms and a little farmhouse.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah.
She's trying. She's trying.
You leave that. And we'll just have the camera sort of stop and the train keep moving as you head towards your first stop, your first quest, your first idea of something to do while you're here. And that's what we'll end the chapter. On a sad, sad note. I'm sorry.
That was heckin' sad. Button.
Also, Chris, you beat me to it.
What?
With the Verlaine kiss.
Nice. Nice.
Very good. Yeah, it was gonna go kiss, stab the book.
Oh.
Definitely what was gonna happen. But then I realized he can't look like Janet when I do that.
Okay, I did briefly was like, how weird would it be for two Janets to be kissing? Because I could still get behind this.
Oh my god.
If it's not crossing any lines for anyone.
Okay, so it's official. Chris and I share one brain cell. It's on its last leg. So yeah, that is the end of chapter 8. I do not know a name for chapter 9 yet. We'll figure that out. But our heroes are now out of the book, and what I would argue a new arc is beginning.
Oh.
Couple of chaos beings hanging out in a world that really, really wants everything to make sense.
So, I can't petition for the next chapter to be named Green Acres.
Oh, it's called Green Acres.
Awesome.
You keep doing this.
There's somehow.
Zsa Zsa Gabor is Harlan's mother.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Oh, Harlan, it's so good to see you. I don't even know if that's a good Zsa Zsa Gabor, but it's whatever.
Sounded fine to me.
Sure.
So that is our story for tonight. As always, our wonderful heroes. You guys are amazing. I'm so happy to continue playing and making you sad. And yes, those were algorithms, the Terminator style things. They come from Kobold Press's Tome of Beasts, beings of pure order and logic.
Love it.
They do not like you.
That tracks.
I like them.
I'm pretty
Some
sure I
of the guesses
recognize
in
that
chat were
paper
pretty
drake
impressive,
too.
though.
Paper Drake also from
Mhm.
Kobold Press.
I love the paper drake. I was like, yes.
The paper drake was awesome. Some
Let
of
it
the
do
guesses for
something a
the
little more.
number guys in chat was good. Somebody said decimators and denominators.
Denominator is a very good Terminator.
like,
joke. That's
hello.
very good. Good job.
I'm pretty sure that was Kyle.
Yeah,
Y'all are
you
so
both did a
smart.
great job, Heather and Kyle.
Yeah.
Good job. So that is our story for tonight. We will see you. Well, what's next week? Next week is
The
22nd.
22nd. I'm good if y'all are good.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we'll see you guys next week, same time, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern, for Chapter 9 of Shenanigoons' Book of Fables called Green Acres. As we journey to Harlan's homestead, quite literal homestead, and I don't know, explore a little bit, maybe start some chaos. So thank you so much for thank you so much for joining us. As once again, we are Shenanigoons. We are part of the Nerdsmith Network. You can find out more about the network at nerdsmith.org. Or if you liked the show and you'd like to support us, you can find us at patreon.com/nerdsmith. We always are eternally grateful for any bit of support that you might be willing to throw our way to keep the lights on and let us keep doing what we love doing here. And thank you so much to our sponsors, Eldritch Foundry and their miniature design website, Die Hard Dice and their incredible polymer and metal dice and dice accessories, and World Anvil, just a world-class campaign management and world-building software, currently in the middle of their special prompt month, World Ember, that you can still participate in whenever you'd like, and hopefully be eligible for thousands of dollars worth of prizes. Y'all are wonderful. Once again, I am Angela. These are our players, Heather, Kyle, Tessa, and Chris, and we are Shenanigoons. We will see you next week. Goodbye, everyone, and to be continued.